Tommy is in Luton. Is that Stephen Yaxley Lennon?
It is, yes.
Okay, so Tommy Robinson, you're better known as. At least you can stop telling people on Twitter that you're banned from the show, Tommy. What did you ring in to say?
I rang in to say that I've been in prison 3 times in the last 5 years. We are massively underestimating it. If you could sit and see with your own eyes what's going on in there, like I have, I went there and I come out more fearful than I already am, because the Category A prison I was put in was more like an ISIS training camp. You had Burgos, you know, the Muslim prisoner who stabbed the police officer in the counter-terror raid in Manchester. He was the imam, acting as the imam. So you do have prison imams, but they're ignored. They're ignored. The majority of them are ignored.
Ignored by whom, Tommy? Ignored by whom?
Ignored by the main group of Muslim prisoners within there. They're not trusted. They're seen as stooges. So then you have somebody else who's the main man, which happened to be Burgos.
You know that I only have your account on this. I'm a little uncomfortable with names being mentioned when, just for legal reasons, I can't.
He's serving life. He's serving life for stabbing a police officer.
No, I'm not. I wasn't asking you to go into more detail. You can tell me everything you want to tell me without necessarily making allegations against individual people. Okay.
Okay, well, these men were controlling him, and there were 6 others in for a terrorism raid. They were controlling that prison. They were controlling everything on the wings. When someone was converting, they weren't converting in the mosque. They were converting with them on the wing. Yeah, that's what's happening, and that's happening across the board. Now, when I went into jail in 2011 or 2012, I spent 22 weeks.
Was that the mortgage fraud or the immigration offences? That
was the immigration offence.
Okay.
I spent 22 weeks on solitary confinement. Yeah, I was not allowed out of my cell. I wasn't allowed to go to church. I wanted to go to church on a Sunday. I wasn't allowed to go to church. I wasn't allowed out of my cell. So, and they used everything to get to get around their laws. They moved me every 30 days. They moved me from one block to another block.
Stephen, I'm interested in the bigger picture. I appreciate you've got an awful lot of grievances, but now's not the place for them.
I don't understand why they're not doing that to radical Islamists. When you've got terrorists in jail who are openly recruiting, which I've seen myself.
Describe that to me. Just describe that to me. The actual recruitment of terrorists. So they're openly saying, we want you to be a terrorist.
They're open. No, they are openly terrorists. They're terrorists in their serving time for terrorism.
But you said recruiting terrorists.
Yeah, they're openly allowed on the wing, and they're openly recruiting, committing doubt. From their point of view, from these Muslim extremists' point of view, they're living a completely halal life. They're in there practicing their religion.
We're moving away. I'm going to give you all the time you need, I promise. But let's just try and pick off one point at a time. Describe to me what you saw when you saw convicted terrorists trying to persuade, perhaps even people who weren't Muslims yet, to become terrorists.
I saw and I spoke to everyone. Every prison I went to, the first thing I'd done was speak to the prison officers about what the situation was within that prison.
Yeah, I just want to know what you saw, Stephen.
What I saw was that it starts off, it's like a process, like a grooming process. When people go to prison, they have nothing, yeah? So a prisoner comes into the jail, they have nothing, they know no one, a lot of the time, yeah? They're then approached, they're then given food, they're given things on their canteen, which no one has, by a group of Muslims. That's the slow starting process. They're then taken in. Within a month, you see them wearing the full Islamic dress and going to prayers.
But that doesn't make them terrorists. That just makes them prayer goers.
No, but there's obviously extremists within the prison system.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Islam's being used a lot of the time by people who actually, a lot of the converts I spoke to knew nothing about Islam, but it's being used for control, intimidation, and fear as a gang. Yeah, I saw that myself. I spoke whenever I used to speak to all the converts. I watched in one prison down south where a white kid come in with a big beard. He looked around, because I used to look for all of them, because I used to think, obviously, I'm a target for whoever's coming in it. And I watched him. When he realised that actual prison wing was not controlled in the same way where he'd come from by Muslim gangs, he shaved his beard off and he's eating pork pies on his menu.
Yes, but here's the thing, Stephen. Again, I feel that you've got an awful lot to throw at the wall, but I want to find some stuff that sticks. The notion that people decide to convert to this religion because they get special treatment, or they get let out of their cell, or they get better food, or they feel safer because there's strength in numbers. None of this is evidence of radicalisation. And I have to tell you, a couple of my listeners are pointing out that somebody with your history being a bit worried by Muslim prisoners in jail is hardly surprising.
Well, no.
As you just said yourself, you thought you'd be targeted.
MI5 said 800 a year. are coming out radicalised.
And I'm not booking MI5. I'm inviting people to tell me what they've seen in prison. And all you've told me so far is a bloke shaved his beard off and ate a sausage roll.
No, I've seen the way that Islam is used for complete control within the prison
Well, talk me through it.
I've seen an argument over halal meat where one Muslim prisoner come back with another 60. Now,
that's an argument over meat. It's not evidence of terrorism.
No, it's extremism, and it's
an argument over meat.
It's showing the way it's used for control, which is why the prison.
But I want to know what radicalisation looks like, and it doesn't look like an argument over meat.
Well, I'll tell you what radicalisation looks like. Yeah. It looks like the last prisoner that come out after serving a rape trial and 3 months.
No, stuff you've seen, not stuff I've read in the papers.
Yeah, I've seen in every prison system I've gone to.
Yes.
I've seen how everyone is terrified. Everyone is terrified, which is why everyone's converted. One of my best friends converted, in the prison system. He got 4.5 years. He come out as well. But that's a slow period. When you've got people who have been wronged their whole life, when you speak to these people in the prison system who haven't had a start, who their families have wronged them, their mums have wronged them, they hate the system anyway. They're the most vulnerable and weak people in society, and we're handing them on a plate, like a plate, to these people. We're handing them there to just be radicalised. And if you've got someone sitting in a cell for 8 years, and they're being brainwashed and told this and that, and then they're let out into society, and we're all scratching our heads. And they want to hate the system anyway. They want to hate the system because the system's usually done them wrong their whole life. So it gives them a cause, automatically gives them a cause. And the main reason why people convert automatically is because of the brotherhood. You mess with one, you mess with another.
I'm conscious of having to sort of wheel you in a lot. I'm still not hearing.
That all plays a part.
I'm sure it does, Stephen, but I just want to know. Talk to me about your friend who converted to Islam. Is he now a terrorist?
No, but he did say to me, he converted and he still continued hanging around with us. This was before the English Defence League. He still continued hanging around with us. And then when we had the Soldiers' Homecoming Parade, he'd only been a Muslim, he'd only come out 6 months. When we had the Soldiers' Homecoming Parade, and I pointed out to him that one of them kids who lost his legs was from our estate, he said, British soldiers are murdering, raping scumbags. And then he said, then we started arguing, then he said he'd kill his dad over his mosque. And so then it's like, what are you talking about? You've been a Muslim 6 months.
And did you report him?
Did I report him?
Yeah, I mean, did you think his threat was serious?
Well, no, that's a stat. I know loads of Muslims that would say that. That's not something to report someone over.
I would.
You would, yeah, but mate, you'd be reporting people every day if you live in Luton.
No, I would report someone who made a threat to kill his own father if I thought it was real, and unless you don't think it's real.
It wasn't a real threat. It's him drawing a comparison.
Right. Here's what I'm trying to pin down. Because I'm late for the travel, and I want you to have at least, I want to get one really powerful point on the board. Let's talk about your best friend, because that's obviously someone you know a lot better than other people who've had arguments over meat and shaved off their beards. Is your best friend? No, we're off.
To extremism, okay. But my other friend Roger, who is now called Ibrahim Henderson.
I've asked you 3 times now not to name specific individuals who aren't here to respond to anything you say. So let's just concentrate on your best friend who converted and threatened to kill his dad. Yeah. Is he radicalised? Is he a terrorist sympathiser?
No, he's not. No, but my other friend is. Right. But my other friend is. He's just been convicted of terrorism. He converted again in prison.
So this is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, the terrorist's friend.
Well, he was when we were younger. He's a white lad, and he converted to Islam, and he's just been. It was all over the national news. He's from Luton, where I'm from. He used to be my friend when we were younger. He's just been convicted for obtaining support for ISIS. So yeah, he converted in prison. Yeah, he's now a terrorist. Yeah, and my other friend, and part of that same group of 4, was another kid who was a year above me at school. That's the point I'm making. Is when I'm talking about these things, I have seen it. I have been in prison.
Good. And now
you've also seen the problems in Luton.
Indeed, and we've benefited from your. I don't know what you are qualified to talk about, Stephen, but you're certainly qualified to talk about what goes on in prisons. I'm very grateful to you for doing so. It's 10 to 11.